Well, thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you. Travelisium.
Yes, it looks like you're.
All right, my name is Kirk McDowell. I am a coach, public speaker. I'm a drummer. I don't usually bring that out, but if we're off from New Orleans and everything, no. And today I'm going to talk about contribution selling. I want to talk about selling. So let's talk about selling for a minute. What immediately is there for you when I say the word selling?
Fear.
Fear. What else?
Annoyance.
Sleazy. Annoyance.
Pushy.
Sleazy. Sleazy. Pushy. A couple more.
Breezy.
Breezy?
Breezy car stereo.
Oh, breezy. I like that. California breeze. Oh, yeah, we could do that for you. It's all good.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else?
Doubt. I said overwhelming.
Doubt. Huh?
I said overwhelming.
Overwhelming. Okay. So you notice there's something right there.
Yep.
I say selling, and you say
Pressure.
right. Okay. So now that's a pretty common reaction, right? Now, have you ever had a sales experience that you love?
Oh, yeah.
You have?
Yes.
Really? Really? Okay, great. So it's possible.
Oh, yeah.
So it is possible.
Indeed.
Oh, are we all down with that?
Yes.
It is actually possible. Okay, good. Now, of the experiences that were not good, right? The key characteristics, let's get 3 or 4 that are like the main ones. Let's get sort of a minor agreement here, right? What are like the 3 or 4 worst things about sales situations? Could be the environment, the person, the conversation. What is like the 2 or 3, 4 like worst things? So let's just pressure, good.
They
Lack
weren't
of
listening.
connection.
We're listening, pressure,
Lack of connection.
lack of connection. One more. Something negative about your experience in a sales situation.
It's irrelevant.
Say again.
Regret.
What they wanted to sell.
Oh, they're talking, yeah, what they're offering is just not relevant. This is irrelevant.
Not worth it.
Beautiful, not worth it. Beautiful. Okay, good. Let's flip the question over. Of those experiences that were awesome, give me a flavor, a characteristic.
Trusting.
Trusting.
They were not held selling.
They were not even
Yeah,
selling.
yeah.
If they weren't selling, what were they doing?
Just talking.
Just sharing.
Yeah.
Sharing.
Sharing.
Oh man, I couldn't have paid for that. Oh, a book. What's your name?
Barbie.
Barbie. Give Barbie a book.
Oh, thank you.
Right on the money. All right. Okay, so I'm sorry. I lost my way. Sharing. When you said the good part.
Oh, trust.
Trust. So they were trustful. They were trustworthy.
Trustworthy.
Trustworthy. They were sharing, and so selling 2 more. Let's
Harmony.
Respect.
Harmonious.
harmonious. Say more about that.
Harmonious, synchronicity, synchronous.
Connection.
Like it was just kind of in the flow, like seemed like the right thing at the right time. Just kind of work. Okay, good. And there's one more over here.
Excited.
Excited.
Yeah.
They
Good.
got you really excited about the
They got you
product.
excited.
Yeah,
And there was one
be
more over
excited.
here.
Respect.
Respect. Okay, great. So you know what's really interesting about the positive ones? So what are they? Respectful, trustworthy, exciting, right?
Excitement, yeah.
Sharing, like connected. Do you notice that none of those requires extraordinary talent?
No. That's right.
Which one of those requires some like superpower? So we got listening, we got being trustworthy, we got sharing. Okay, nothing requires like any superhuman abilities I'm aware of just yet, right? Are we agreed?
Right.
We've come across nothing that requires like Superman to accomplish. Is that right?
That's right.
This is important. Okay, good. All right, good. So I have a professional sales background. Like in the 80s in New Orleans, I sold copiers. It was swordplay out there. It was business to business, highly competitive, capital equipment. Scruples were out the windows. It was literally swordplay out there, right? The first year was awesome. I sold everything. I sold my house. I sold my car. I sold everything to survive, right? I finally got through the worst part and became kind of a player in the copier business in New Orleans, right? Through hook and crook and training and so forth. But there's one thing I noticed is I was a student of sales training. And one thing I noticed is that the sales training that I could get in connection with. This was like late 80s, early 90s. So what I was finding are people you may not have heard of: Tom Hopkins, Zig Ziglar, Brian Tracy, Roger Dawson, these kind of people. But what I noticed was every training was an ever more subtle form of manipulation. Right?
That's the
Hear this. Don't say this yet, say it then, and da-da-da-da-da. Like, when you really start looking at it, and all the words are correct, well, we want to make sure they make the best decision for them. Really? Really? Well, I don't know. Everybody everybody's lifetime experience doesn't really bear that out, right? Most salespeople are there for you, not really. Right? All right, so what if instead of learning how to sell, we got really good at what we do? So I'm mostly focused in on the passionate entrepreneur. So this is you if you are up to something. You might love what you're up to, you might be scared, you might not feel the love yet because you're so scared, right? But you're excited, you're in it, you're passionate, you love it. And if that's you, and then all of a sudden one day you go, oh my God, I got to sell something to make this work. It's one thing to have a passion, a business of passion. It's another thing to pay the rent. Have you noticed?
Yeah.
Am I the only one?
No.
Okay, all right, good. Good. So, what if instead of getting good at selling, you got good at whatever you're up to? So I'm a coach. So instead of working on being good at selling, I work on being good at being a coach. You know what I mean? I work on being good at articulating my passion and vision for what coaching makes available. By the way, and so I wrote a book called Contribution Selling. Did we finish it this year, Liz?
Yep.
Yeah, so it's this year. This is the book, by the way, Artemis, when you said people start a book and never finish it. Well, I thought you were talking about writing. I was going to say, I finished mine! Anyway, so,
Now you have to read it and finish it.
no. Okay, so anyway, so what I've tried to do here is I try to keep this down to like an hour read, hour and a half read. So it's kind of like a coaching session. You get me? And what I tried to do is I really sat down and from both my down the street pragmatic sales experience and my transformational coaching experience, which is about 20 years of led programs, individual group coaching, tens of thousands of people, put all that together in such a way that in an hour or two, a difference could get made and a new future could get started. So, one thing I have people do, and I'm going to make all this available to you. I'm going to make this available to you. One thing that you could do is start to really look at, for you, there's no right answer, for you, what are the qualities, the characteristics of the type of sales environment you want to create for your audience. See, I like to bring contribution. I like to be the real deal with regard to, I'm here to have a difference made in their life, and I'm here to have tomorrow be different than today. Different in what way? You tell me, and then we'll get to work on it. Right? In contribution selling, I'm here to have, I love your vision. I wish, I'm 55 years old. I wish you were around when I was 5 years old.
Yeah.
That would have made a difference for me, by the way.
Yes.
In my opinion.
Yes.
See what I'm saying? And I want you to not be out there trying to convince people, but to know who you are.
Yes.
And deal with
Yes.
being masterful at the articulation of who you are, such that people are moved and inspired. Add to that, only talk to people who are looking for you. If I'm a sales coach and I'm talking to somebody who's got a sales team and never has to worry about money, I'm going to talk to him about, the Saints or something. Leave him alone. He's fine. If I meet somebody who's like, oh my God, I got this business, I love it so much, I don't know if I'm going to make it, I'm running out of money, blah, 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 and I get into a sales situation, I get clammed up, I don't know what to do. Yes! That's me. Right? So when I have conversations with people, I'm only having conversations with people who are interested in what I have to offer. Right? And then I make it my business to be someone that people want to do business with. Which is not subtle, right? Trusting, exciting, sharing, right? Relevant. It's not complicated. And here's what gets in the way. And Artemis spoke about this beautifully. Lewis spoke about this beautifully. We get in our way. Have you noticed that human beings are capable of almost anything? Have you noticed that?
Yes.
Have you noticed it doesn't always work out that way? What's the dealio? Right? So you and you and you and you and you are your own greatest resource and your own greatest obstacle.
No.
Oops. So imagine you've done the work to be fully present and inspired by your why. I see a future where entrepreneurs get to wake up in the morning and be excited about telling their story. And they're speaking to people who are interested in speaking to them. And they clear who they have to be someone that people want to do business with. Right? And then it's like sharing. Can we share?
Yes.
Can you do that?
Yes.
So let's say a little bit about sharing, just to have you have so that you know what you're saying yes to in my interpretation, right? So sharing is speaking, articulating in such a way that you leave people with whatever you'd like to leave them with. I'd like to leave you with a future where you can get up in the morning and share passionately about your business, and you know who you are, and they get to say yes, and they get to say no, and it's all beautiful. You know what? Because you're speaking to people who are speaking to you, you are someone people want to do business with, and it's not complicated, you know? Maybe it's even fun. Maybe you get to be effective. Maybe you get to be the record setter. Not by manipulation. Being good at what you do. Do you know when you're sitting in front of somebody? So look, if you accomplish this, right? If you get to this stage, you make a promise to yourself to speak to people who want to speak to you. Right? That's number one. You make the next promise to yourself, I'm going to be someone that people actually want to do business with. Not complicated. You just created it, right? I've got a worksheet. I'll send it home with you. But it's dirt easy. You just think, what did I really enjoy? I enjoyed being respected. I enjoy being spoken to and not being spoken at, just whatever it is, right? And you just like, okay, I'm going to practice that. What did I hate? I hate not being listened to. Okay, you know what? I do that. I'm going to take that off the list. I'm going to take it off my menu. Right? You just got to get to work at it, right? So imagine you've done the work to be someone people want to do business with. You've done the work to, when someone says, what do? You are emotionally and viscerally connected to your why. Why are you doing this? And I don't want to hear profit or money for this conversation. That's the scoreboard. So I'm a Saints fan. Imagine Drew Brees under center. Gets the ball and then immediately starts looking at the scoreboard and goes, 7 to 10, so we've got to get at least a field goal to the. Okay, well, I must not have been looking at the scoreboard hard enough. Right? It doesn't work that way. He had a season where he scored the most touchdowns and whatever, and somebody, reporters are always trying to get the story, and athletes have no interest in the story. They're just like all about performance. And so the story like, hey, most touchdowns ever, you must have touchdowns. Drew Brees like, no. First downs. All we're about is getting first downs. That's pretty simple. Yeah. So imagine, right? You've done the work to articulate who you are, what you're about, your why, in such a way that people actually kind of want some, if it's appropriate. Right?
Yeah.
I don't have a family to offer you, so we might not have an immediate match, right? But I'm moved by what you said.
Yes.
And I would assert you're at the beginning of crafting your why. And I was moved by what you said. Those two things, that's good medicine right there, right? You're at the beginning, it's already moving.
Oh,
Yeah.
Right? And so I know who to send you to. If somebody pops up in my life and says the right things, right? No question. I was moved by your articulation. I get that you're the real deal. I don't know why, but there's something about you that informs me that if I sent you to somebody, I would be glad that I did.
Yeah.
Do you get that?
Yes, sir.
Now, can you all get, whether you're an exact match for what I just acknowledged him for or not, can you get that as completely attainable?
Yes.
Right, okay, good. So, let me start again. You've done the work to know why you're doing what you're doing. You've done the work to articulate in a way that's actually, inviting. You've made a promise to yourself you're only going to speak to people who are interested in speaking to you. And you've done the work to be someone that people want to do business with. The next time, if you do that, like that's like a day's work, by the way. This is like not a big deal, right? So you do all that, and then the next time you're sitting in front of somebody, you know, you're listening, you're attentive. I recommend having your attention on contribution. I find it really works. How can I make the biggest difference possible with this human being today? I find that people notice when you have your attention on that. They're not doing this anymore and trying to get out the door. They're like, tell me more. That was a state change for me, right? So, you know, it's just things are gonna work out. Can you see that? Artemis has done a tremendous amount of work of building an empire where people are coming to him that he gets to speak to, right? So take that, and then you know who you are. You know how to be someone people want to do business with. Everybody you speak to is hoping you're the real deal. You get that? You get that people are impatient.
Yes.
Yes.
Does your prospective customer want to speak to 10 salespeople? No! They want to talk to you. They want you to be the answer. They want to say yes. They want to be done with it. Give them a break. All right. So I'm being fun and big and ruckus on purpose, right? I want to get away from the oh my God sales and the negative experiences and self-talk and beliefs that can creep up in a sales situation. One of the biggest things you really got to deal with is something Artemis touched on. I'm going to call it the amygdala hijack, right? The reptilian brain covered by the emotional brain and the cognitive brain. The purpose of that reptilian brain is to keep you alive, and here's how that works, right? And a threat, by the way, real or perceived, makes no difference to the brain. So don't tell me that wasn't a real threat. I don't care, right? So, a threat, the amygdala shuts down, the limbic brain shuts down the neocortex so that you cannot process your feelings and you cannot think by design. Think about this. A lion is coming at you full speed. I wonder how I feel about that. My goodness. I remember, when I was a child.
Run, Forrest, run!
Right? Or, is this right? Thinking, is this right? Is this wrong? Should this be that way? Should I do this? No, we don't have time for that. Act. Right? Now, that's beautiful when the lion's coming at you, not so great trying to resolve an issue in a relationship, in a business, with your boss, or with a prospective customer.
That's right.
So, the amygdala hijack comes in two ways. The obvious one is, you're the person coming in and doing the sales call. Everybody knows what salespeople are all about. So, 9 times out of 10, you're walking into a hijack. The antidote is safety. You have to have them be safe with you. That's it. That's all there is. Now, lots of fun ways to do that. One of my favorite conversations, right? But safety's first. Look at it for yourself. When you feel unsafe, you withdraw. You go into your corner, emotionally, physically, whatever it is. If you're emotionally unsafe, I'm never sharing with them again. Right?
Yeah.
I know I've said it. If you're physically unsafe, you back up, you do the posture, whatever. Right? Just whatever it is. If you're unsafe, you withdraw. So if you can imagine, if a human being has an issue that you're there to contribute to, if they're feeling unsafe, that's not going to go terribly well. I mean, you might get lucky and they might stumble across an agreement and sign it on the way down, but it's not your highest formula, right? So you want to have people be safe. How do you do that? You know how to do that. Be respectful, be gentle, listen, be trustworthy, just all the things, right? So that's obvious, right? People have a thing about salespeople. You had a thing about salespeople just a minute ago, right? So if you have a thing about salespeople, you walk in and defenses are up. The way that you may not notice is you are hijacked. I don't want to be one of those people. Well, that's great. I share the commitment, but that's not how you go in and have something be beautiful by not being something. Right? What are you going to be? I recommend being the biggest, baddest contribution you can possibly muster.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ow.
Right? Now, I like contribution. It really works. The contribution part is not the thing. The consciousness is the thing. I'm choosing who I'm going to be related to talking to people about my business. I'm going to be a contribution. right? But it could be, you know, love, it could be anything, right? Anything that is powerful and positive and actually uplifts you. I love contribution. Okay? So, where am I at on time?
You got 17 minutes.
17 minutes. Whew, man, look at my, I had to schedule for the first time ever.
This is good stuff, Chris.
Thank you.
Yeah, good stuff.
All right, so let's. How many people here? How many people here identify with sort of the general idea of, you know, a passionate entrepreneur, someone who's in business for their passion? Yeah. So, everybody, and we got, and you guys.
I was trying to make some money.
Great.
I'm not doing what makes me passionate.
Gotcha. Thanks for being straight with
I would
yourself.
like to do something passionate.
I got it. Now, okay, good, perfect. So we got a couple categories now, right? So your jobs are to get straight about what do you want? What do you want? What is your gift to the world? What's your magic? What do you got for us?
My passion.
Yeah.
I want to have women's shelters. I want to have shelters, period. But
Right.
I want to have like shelters that are geared towards women, and then shelters that are geared towards men, and then shelters that are geared toward adolescents.
Beautiful. It's beautiful. Is there a model out there in the world for what you're looking at, or is this like just
No, it's just
this is you?
yeah.
This is
just-
your vision.
I mean, each idea is independent of itself. So, like for women, I was thinking like battered women,
Yeah.
women who have small children who need some.
Yeah.
And then for the kids, you know, I see a lot of kids go to foster care and kids
Okay.
who need stable homes and things
Great.
like that. And then for men, I was thinking along the lines, there are men in the world who want to be great and who want to do something other than be nothing. And they don't know how, or they don't have the support.
Beautiful.
So just
Love that.
being someone who gives them support.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful. Now, your customer is probably the person paying for that.
My customer.
Corporate sponsor.
Oh yeah,
something,
yeah. That's
right?
that's what my idea for money was coming from, was
Right.
to get people to
Right.
Contribute.
Yeah.
Now, see, that is innovative and inspiring, and you're just at the beginning of learning how to articulate it. You get that? That's not like a beautifully crafted thing, and there's meat on those bones. You know what I'm saying? So great. Okay, good. Let me just pause you for a second. What's your thing? What would you like to give to the world?
Multiple things. I would say number one, the main thing is help people thrive regardless of their situation.
Great, great. And you probably, I can imagine you've got some personal circumstances, some preferences, like types of situations you'd like to. Great. Okay, good. Listen, that's the beginning of something, right? Both of those things. That's the beginning of, hey, what are you about? And you speak for about a minute or two, and people are like that's where you want to get to. You get that? So, find yourself a coach, me, Lewis, Artemis, or somebody else or something, right? But get that work done where somebody says, hey, what are you about? And you speak for a minute or two, no longer than 2 minutes. And people are, tell me more. And like, boom. Right? And then it's about strategy. Who are you talking to? What are you talking about? What are you asking for? All in the spirit of love and contribution, right? You're looking for people for whom that is their contribution in life, to support that, to fund that, to be part of that, to be on your team to fulfill this vision. You get that?
Yeah.
Yeah, beautiful, beautiful. So do that work. The world needs that.
Right now, I have a trucking company, so I was hoping
Okay.
that they could help start kick it off.
Okay. Listen, you got what you, listen, you go to battle with the army you got.
Okay.
So trucking today, got it, beautiful. Be the best, whatever you're doing, right there it is, right?
Yeah.
And then leverage that to your heart, to your, what fulfills your heart. You get that?
Yeah.
And just find a way to make it work together, right? You can have conversations with people while, off work. Because really that's where you're at now, is having conversations.
Yes.
Like creating what you're about, what your why is in such a way that people, you really want that, you want to keep working on it until go, right? And then, you get out of it after that. Then it's just, who are you talking to?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're, same thing, right? Whatever that thing is, I'm not gonna ask you to share about it, right? But there's something in there that if you articulate, it's gonna be beautiful and people are gonna want some. People are gonna be asking if they can be on your team. We're talking about leadership on the 10th, so this is the event coming up on the 10th, which I highly recommend. I'm gonna be talking about leadership in that event. And you know, you have leadership by inspiration and you have leadership by manipulation. Right? You want to be a master of the inspiration parts. And by the way, selling and being a salesperson and selling for your business and being an entrepreneur is leadership, because your accountability is to have something exist that doesn't currently exist.
Right.
If that's not leadership, I don't know what is. A quota, a customer base, a business, a new project, a new initiative, whatever. Doesn't exist, it does. Leadership. A manager has things that already exist, work beautifully. They're both highly important and highly required. Sales tends to be on the leadership side because it doesn't exist and then it does. Right? You imagine a customer and then lo and behold, there's a customer. That's leadership. I mean, you do what you do. You know. Okay. For those of you who know what you're up to, right, it's about refining that articulation until you knock people's socks off with it. Right? Minute or two, not 20 minutes. No one got time for that. Right? Quick, in and out. Oh my gosh, because you want that question. How do I find out more? Where's more about that? You know, what can I do? You know, what's the next step? Like that kind of thing, right? You're only speaking to people who are interested in what you have to offer. You've done the work to be authentically of service. So there's no constraint. I've got a very simple process in the sales conversation. Step one, credibility, save, let people get used to your presence. You weren't there, now you are there. That's kind of the thing. Give them a minute. Some people like to talk about the weather, some people don't. Whatever they need, let them get used to you. Let you be safe and credible and give them half a minute to get used to you. Step two, start a conversation about anything. Kind of start moving it towards what you're here for. Hey, what are you dealing with? What's important to you? Where are you stopped? What's going on? Right? Have an open question, right? You're eliciting information, you're finding out more, you're feeding, you're reading back what they say so that they know you're actually paying attention and you care, right? At some point, you start to get an idea of what's going on and you get the landscape and you're starting to get some creative ideas because you're an expert at what you do, right? Because you did that work, right? Before you walked in, so you kind of get it put together. Hey, I got some ideas. First of all, I want to make sure I got what you said. Read the whole thing back to them. Demonstrate you're professional. Demonstrate you're listening. Demonstrate you care. You know, how many times have you articulated something for several minutes and someone reads it back to you and you're like,
That's not even it up. Yeah.
where have you been? Don't be that guy, right? Articulate it back in such a way that they get you're actually paying attention, that it matters to you that you heard them and listened to them. Like their issue is now your issue, right? And if you have an idea, say, hey, I got an idea. Can I share it with you? If they say yes, which by the way, if you're safe, credible, you listened, you recreated what they said accurately, you actually did the work to be there for them and you're not being weird and manipulative, and you say, hey, I got an idea for you, can I share it with you? What are they going to say?
Yeah.
Then you have an opening as wide as a Mack truck, and then you can let it rip. This is what I see. Oh my gosh. Bam, boom, bam, bam, boom, bam, 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 bam. What do you think? How's that sound to you? Oh, you don't like it? How come? And then what do? Listen. You're not. If you're overcoming objections, you've already lost. You've already in an adversarial relationship before you start a relationship. Who wants to be in a relationship with somebody you're already fighting with?
Right.
No, I didn't think so. Right? Just checking, make sure you're paying attention. That's my little trick. If you do this, I know you're not listening. Say, schoolyard world.
That's right.
But yeah, you know, it can be easy and it can be fun. And where you go to work is in being the real deal about that which you deliver. Be the best coach I can be, right? Is where I have my, you know, most of my attention. And learn how to articulate in such a way that people can receive it. By the way, no matter what you're doing, communication and relationship is probably vital. So doing the work to be able to articulate who you are and what you're about is probably going to be good for your business. So it's not like just for this, right? That's probably good practice. And you learn how to articulate what you're up to in a way that people kind of want some of that. They want to be on your team. They want to find out more. They want to see what you got, you know?
Yeah.
They want to work with you. Why? Because you're real. There's something about authenticity that's really, really, really special. And it could very easily be turned into the next trick, right? So that doesn't work. But when you actually show up, there's a beautiful moment when Artemis was leading when he said, "Oh, I'm blushing, isn't that cute?" It was like a little moment, right? And all of a sudden, you just loved him more. You notice that? Right. That wasn't slick. That wasn't polished. It doesn't like look good, theoretically, right? But it's beautiful in that we got a glimpse of a human being dealing with what it is to be here and be on Facebook and I'm turning around, what do I do? Oh, isn't that cute? Right? It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank you for that.
You're welcome.
And so that's you, right? You can be yourself. You can be your best self. You can be a contribution. You can be a service to other human beings. You can go out and talk about what you do, what's important to you. You can extend invitations and requests. Hey, would you like to visit with me? No, I got it. Thank you. Thanks for considering it. Or yes, great, let's do it. You know, whatever. If you're of service and you're sharing what's important to you, people can have room to say yes and no. By the way, nothing pulls for a yes more than complete permission to say no. Have you noticed?
Yeah.
Give people a no, fine.
That's
You get the call the next day. Well, you know, I was thinking of it. Really? Okay, call me back. Thinking about that. People want to know that you're for real, and where most people drop out being the real deal is with attachment.
Yeah.
I wrote a little blog post. Attachment is a possibility killer. You know, you start off with something you're excited about, you're inspired, you're excited, you can't wait to make a difference in the world, and this happens and that happens, and all of a sudden you're worried about paying your rent, and you're talking in front of somebody and you start acting weird, and you start doing anything to get them to say yes. And the whole possibility of everything you create, everything that was important to you is out the window and got sold out because you have a thought and a feeling and a concern. That is not the real deal. And when you don't do that, people say, no, I don't think so, and you go, cool, I got it. Like, really cool, I got it.
Right.
People notice that. You probably had that same experience.
I had that same experience as a salesperson.
Yeah.
Being like,
Same.
being like the person, like being pressured to make someone say yes, and then you get to saying anything, and then you totally lose the sale.
Right.
So, and that's what makes me like not want to be a salesperson, because I'm like, it's too much, it's too overwhelming.
And you get that from your company or your manager?
Yeah.
Yeah, the book I just finished about about a week is a contribution sales management is for the sales manager. Stop from doing stuff like that to good people like you. Right?
For sure.
Yeah, because if that sales manager was all about you and contribution and integrity, like the integrity of I am who I say I am, if I say we're here to serve customers, that's what we're here to do. Man, so many companies I've worked with, been a part of, seen beautiful platitudes about everything under the sun, and the very minute the wind blows, minute they can close a deal and get another 1%, lies all over the place. It's just crazy for nothing. So, I'm going to wrap it up. I'd be interested in hearing what you hear. I'd like to know what I got accomplished over there, and my specific focus of interest. Will anything be different tomorrow than it was this morning?
Yes.
I'd love to hear what you guys have to say about that.
I maybe have a question.
Yeah.
What if you can't come up with something specific because there's just too many things?
You can and you will. Call me, Lewis, or Artemis, and we will get you sorted out. And by the way, I get the question. I'm confident. I don't mean to be flip,
Yeah.
right, or smug, but I'm confident. Okay, that work is doable. We're the kind of people who do those people. Okay, you're not lost. You're not abandoned. It is going to work out for you. You hear me? Okay. Yeah. Just get support. Artemis shared. The guy will turn around when he got the right support. Got the right thinking. You're right there on that cusp.
Yeah.
I do a 30-minute call. Don't let this be the end of this conversation. You hear me? That's the only thing I'll be upset about. if tomorrow's like today, and I find out one day, I'll go, then we're gonna have a problem, all right? Just don't let it be the end, right? Come to the workshop on the 10th, conscious entrepreneurship.
Not here.
You're not here, okay. All right.
Yeah, because success, if you're not here, for those of you who are here, success rubs off on you.
Yeah.
You know, being in the room of highly successful people and learning their best practices and their tools, it's so powerful.
You can also attend virtually, just like these people are attending this virtually.
We'll
We can talk about that.
Listen, stay in touch with us and we'll take care of you, okay? You got
Yes.
that? Don't cut the cord. All right. Somebody else, tell me how something's gonna be different tomorrow. That's what we're here, Beth.
I have, I'm attending this, I have a renewed faith of moving forward
Beautiful.
because, you know, when I was younger, Secret was really big.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we practiced it,
Yes.
and everything really did law of attraction.
Yeah.
It worked, and then life happened,
Right.
and then this kind of went down on the spiral, couldn't get up,
Great.
didn't have people around me that were successful or
Right.
around us that were successful and positive, and so I just kind of crawled into a corner.
Great.
So listening to everything that Artemis said and that you said has given me,
Beautiful.
everything's clicking again like I did it before.
Are you coming on the 10th?
Yes.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Then we got another shot at you. Good. Stay with it.
Yeah.
I mean, a shot at you like you're gonna win this thing,
No,
right? We're
yeah,
not
I
messing
mean,
around.
I
Okay,
know what it is and
Okay.
that's, yeah.
cool. Thank you.
When can we do lunch? When can we get together?
Okay, good. All right, I got you. I will get that started with you. Beautiful. Yes.
The permission to say no. It's not that I don't love this and that it's not resonating. I'm still letting it process
Yeah.
and become integrated.
Yeah.
So the part of me keep showing up and keep coming back.
Yeah.
It's still feeding
Love
what
it.
I'm wanting to build, but having that permission to say no creates a safe space for me to keep coming back.
Yes. Now that's beautiful. That wasn't actually the answer to my question, right? But she just told you as a customer from her point of view. So it's no longer me with an interesting idea, right? She keeps coming back because we don't beat her up about anything, right? I'm not going to buy anything today. Great, thanks for being here. All right, and here she is. Right? One thing that Lewis and Artemis and I take pride in is delivering value, like actual value. So thank you. That really means that's confirmation of a lot. Okay, so that's my time. If you would like contribution selling, we have copies for you. It looks like this. Would you like one?
Yes.
There you go. And she'll make sure. So just put your hand up if you want one. Thank you for letting me be here tonight. If it was just me, Lewis, and Artemis, it would be really weird. So you were critical.
That's
to being here.
Not really, we do this stuff for fun. all the time.
We do do it fun, but it's a lot more fun when we got to do it.
Oh yeah, it's so much more fun when
I
people.
don't think we've ever hung out at this.
Well, more fun, my favorite.
Stop this.
Yeah.